So today we're joined by Flopine, who I've been following your work for forever, and I've seen you live a few times, but I was like too intimidated to say hello to you, as I told you when I messaged you, because you're so good at all of the things. I think I saw you performing in some 8-bit sound stuff during Grow in 2018, and I came to a Cookie Collective party, I think once or twice, and I could see you in the distance, but I get very intimidated at those meetups because everyone's so insanely good, and I just kind of lurk. But I'm a lurker by design, so yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah, because for everyone that is watching, you two live like in the same city. So for the ones that are wondering.
Yeah, we even kind of went to the same. We have both been at the same university, but in different programs, and not at the same time. But I wish that your program existed when I was there. I was there in 2010, and it didn't exist yet. I don't think, or maybe it did, and I just didn't know about it.
I didn't quite learn shadow coding in university, but my cursus there at Paris 8 University is like 36 years old now.
Really?
It was kind of precursor. It's called ATI, Art et Technologie de l'Image. And actually it's been there for quite a long time.
I maybe had emailed the dean of that program to ask him, and I think I did email someone at some point who, like, I'm into all of this coding stuff, but I'm not a coder. And I think he told me to do my master's, which was media art and the web, which is super theoretical. Wasn't as fun. I wrote about processing for my master's thesis, and they were very confused by what I was trying to talk about. But whatever. It was still a good experience.
Okay.
So by the way, Flopine, can you tell us a little bit to the people that doesn't know you, where are you from and where do you live? Where did you grow up? Is it the same city where you are living right now, or did you move? Can you tell us a little bit of your background?
Yeah, of course. I'm a French demoscener and I'm living right now near Paris, but I was born in the north of France, where people go to the mine to extract carbon and things. Like my grandfather works in the mine. It's quite usual when you are from the north of France. But yeah, it brings people together, and it gave me a culture of sharing, I would say, because like when you were living in those kind of cities that were made for the miners, the people who go under the mine, those cities were called corons. And a lot of people, like the work was so hard. Everyone shared with each other because they already shared the pain of the work. So yeah, I was born in one of those towns, and but my parents weren't miners. But they're doing something else. And I was raised among the family of 3. I have 2 older brothers, and I like to think of what I'm doing today as a mix between all the main figures in my family, which is quite fun because like today I love to make art with machines and mathematics. My father is a math teacher. One of my brothers is a programmer, and the other one really loves art and has a really good culture of history of art and things like that. He plays in theater and stuff like that.
You're really like a cross of everybody all together. That's so fun.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
so cool.
That's what I
influenced you.
Yeah, I think that's why I like this practice so much. But anyway, after high school, I went to a university in Valenciennes, which is also in the north of France, to learn about audiovisual, globally. I shot some short with camera, or when you go when you interview people without being prepared.
Oh yeah, like streeters.
With the mic.
Yeah.
And I don't know the word in English, sorry. And that was super fun, and it gave me some huge basics on mathematics, because we also learned a lot of technical things like conversion of signal. That's at university that I learned about fast Fourier transformation, for example, which is a lot used for analyzing harmonics in music and stuff. And after that, I went to Paris to continue on my studies. And I went to Paris 8 University in Saint-Denis for the courses Art et Technologie de l'Image, as I said previously.
That's awesome. So how long have you been studying at Paris 8 then now? How long have you...
Yeah, because I after my master, I went for a PhD.
Yeah.
And I'm still on it. So and it's been 5 years for the PhD, and then I did 3 years for the master thesis.
Oh, right. Okay.
And how long is the PhD gonna be, by the way? How many more years?
6 max. So
oh, so you're almost done.
Left. Okay. Oh yeah, because you did master 1 and 2, right? That's
yes, I did master 1, master 2, and then the thesis right now. So yeah, 3. But ATI just starts at the third years after high school. So I did 3 years at ATI and then go on for the PhD I am doing right now with the research team in 𝗏, Image numérique et réalité virtuelle. Which is like affiliated to the ATI formation. So it was kind of a straight road for me.
How did you,
wow.
Were you, when I saw you performing your 8-bit stuff, you were already into shaders at that point in 2018, right? You had already started, I think.
Yes, I started in 2000, and I saw my first shader coding event in 2016, and I think I opened my Shader Showdown account in 2017, like start of the of 2017 year.
Okay.
Is that how you got inspired, by just going to an event and then seeing the work of others, and then you were like, oh, but I want to try shaders as well?
Yeah, definitely. That's when I went to my first demo party. So. For those who might not know, the demo parties are where demosceners gather, and demosceners are a community, a culture based on making art with machines, whatever they are. And it takes its roots in the crack scene, because they, at some point, a lot of people gathered around hacking floppies. And you were even able to go to crack party at some point, and that's where people exchange cracked floppies and copy their stuff. And the cracking a floppy was super hard, so to acknowledge who did it, they just add some kind of a little scroller or the name of the group, the surname or things like that, with some small animation. And at some point, that's what people prefer to do, those small animation, because that was also technically challenging. And then the demoscene was born from that.
I didn't know about the cracked floppy thing. I always thought of the demoscene as the challenge of making with as little, like a thing that weighed as little as possible.
Like code golfing, I think. You were confused.
Code golfing?
Yeah, I think it's called code golfing when you have to do the least amount of lines of code, right? So.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, like I don't know why it's reference to the golf.
That's so cool though.
I don't know the etymology of golfing. You're right. It's kind of
the analogy
weird.
Of like playing golf.
Oh, because in golf you're supposed to hit as little. You should know this, right, Eliza? Because your boyfriend is so into golf. But you're supposed to hit, I think, as little strokes as possible to get the ball in the hole. I think that's the game.
Maybe that's it, but
not a golfer.
But still is very like,
Yeah. But,
Yeah. Somebody said the same because the end goal is to get the lowest score. Lowest score, yeah. So
Yeah,
it could be
maybe.
that, yeah.
That's an interesting theory.
Yeah, but thanks for explaining the demo scene because I didn't know about it. I think I asked Eliza last year about it when we were discussing the demo scene, and I told her, what is that? For me, I thought that it was like a gaming scene,
Really?
like gamers or something.
Yeah.
So I was very confused about what the demo scene was. So it's great. So it's actually like making art with machines, you said, right? So
yeah, like putting constraints, whether it's the machine itself that puts you that constraint, because, for example, today working on an Atari or an Amiga is quite tough, but you can also put your own constraints technically. And for example, in the demo scene, usually one of the most liked compo is the 4K or the 64K, and the purpose of those compo, a compo is a competition based on constraints. Because when you do a demo party, usually you produce something, an executable, usually it's real time. So you have to produce an executable, and they enter different categories of competition. And one of these categories is 4K or 64Ks, for example. And the purpose of those is to create an executable that will merge visuals and music, so a shader and a synthesizer. And it has to be.
How to do that.
Oh, there are tools for that.
Yeah, no. I mean, I can bring in the data, but then I always find it so abrupt. I need to figure out how to like distill the audio data properly because it makes everything kind of jiggle in a way, and I just want it to be flowy. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No problem. You can, no problem. Yeah, I don't know how to do audio with trackers either. I usually paired with someone if I need to do a demo. And so the purpose of the 4K competition, for example, is to make the executable that fits into 4 kilobytes.
It's crazy. Yeah. That for me was when I think of it, that's what I think of when I think of demo scene.
And that's why you have to code golf as much as you can, and you also have tools that helps you gain some size, like crinkler or minifier, stuff like that.
I saw you recently doing some shader showdowns. Are there any specific constraints there, like in terms of like how long or your code can be, or is it just like carte blanche?
Shader showdowns are another category, and usually it's a carte blanche regarding the size of your code, but you just have 25 minutes to come up with it, and you start with nothing basically, so you have to write everything down.
I don't know how you.
Is that what it is?
It's so impressive.
Like shader showdowns.
Showdowns,
it's like a competition.
So, like a showdown.
What was it called? Showdown. Okay.
Showdown.
It's a battle. It's a battle between usually two coders.
You were like the reigning champion this past year, no? The last
in 2020.
20, yeah.
But I lost my title in 2021.
Yeah, but you both, I saw that one, and you were both doing something so impressive. Like, being able to start from zero.
Ray March?
She did a Ray March, yeah.
Oh,
and
wow.
the person I saw you going against was doing a 2D thing, and they were both so impressive. Like, I don't know how you manage your stress and can think straight and code that way in 25 minutes. I was blown away. Yeah.
Cool.
Actually, it's quite fun because I was more stressed for the past few years because it happens not on site. Actually, being on stage helps me with the stress. So
really?
Not being on stage and still having to do the competition is quite stressful for me. But
is it like an energy thing? You prefer? I guess it's easier to focus in. Maybe when you're surrounded by people somehow, I don't know. Or when you're I don't know.
I think it's like the stress is being overwhelmed by the excitation.
Yeah, okay. That makes sense.
And the joy, and because the crowd is really
interesting.
numerous in revision.
Because I would be thinking that I would be nervous like performing live because of the people, but maybe you get the adrenaline, of course, of
because people
having
will
the
cheer
crowd.
too, right? So it's nice when if you're
Yeah, I
stressing out, maybe
imagine.
you get a little cheer of encouragement or something. Yeah, I don't know.
And also the
Yeah.
music is live too, so when you are really next to the DJ, you can
More
vibe
inspiration.
and
So
Yeah,
cool.
cool.
that's funny.
That sounds fun.
That's awesome.
Cool.
And,
when does
but-
this thing take place, by the way? When is this Shader Showdown?
At a lot of demo parties, and sometimes out of demo parties. Like anyone can organize one. Actually, you just have to do brackets. You just have to have people who wants to enter the competition. It's just if you do it outside a demo party, it might not be registered in the website 𝗶, for example, which is the reference for everything that is about demoscene. So 𝗶.net.
That they chose for that. Is it an acronym or is it just like, because when I think of 𝗶, I think of like 𝗶 or like I don't know. Yeah, okay.
Actually, if I'm right, I'm not like 100% sure, but I think the name comes from a talk between 𝗏𝗏𝗀𝗀 and 𝗏𝗲𝗀, and 𝗏𝗏𝗀 being a French demo scener. I think actually 𝗶 is like the 𝗶 you say in French, and maybe in Quebec too.
Yeah.
And that's funny because any non-French people pronounce it like 𝗶. And if it's really from a French person, like if it's really from 𝗏𝗏𝗀, I guess it should be pronounced 𝗶.
Yeah, I mean, that's how I thought of it. That's funny.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Cool. So, should we start with some coding?
Yeah, let's dive in. I set up, I just swapped out the code, the donut code again for the newest donut code because I realized that we were going to start working off the 𝗏𝗏𝗀𝗀 template that had that error in the distance calculations of the camera, so I fixed that. So you'll notice now the donut doesn't have that little dimple anymore. It's like a full-on donut. And so yeah, we can start anytime. So when I talked to Flopine, she has been really excited about this like camera technique that she's been playing around with, which I've never even heard of the camera that you mentioned when we were talking in shaders. Like I've only ever used perspective and orthographic, but you mentioned this other one called.
Tell us about this and how do you do it? Because I was very curious that normally in 3S there's only two types of cameras. So.
Yeah, actually there are only two types of camera, but isometric is a combination of an orthographic projection and a specific rotation of all the scene.
Cool.
And that's how you end up with, like for example, if you play with, I don't remember the name of this game. Like it's in asymmetric view, and you have a small character in white, and you have to jump on puzzle from. Tile to tile.
Yeah.
It's
I think there are different games based on that view, right? So
yeah, there are a lot of them actually.
Like in
there's
Switch,
really
I think there's one
on
with
the
toads.
Yeah, on the iPhone, the Android.
Yeah, true. There was the
island. It was something island, I think. It was so good. I was obsessed with it. It's like the only game I think I ever played from beginning to end. I'm really bad at finishing my games. But I also don't like when the stories end, so I end up going on side quests and just hanging out there and just.
Monument Valley. Somebody said in the chat that maybe it's called Monument Valley.
That's what I was thinking of. That's what I was thinking.
What's that one?
Yes, exactly. Thank you.
Yay.
Okay, cool.
So
it's just learn about that then.
It's just an orthographic projection and a rotation in the Y and the X axis, with a specific number, and you have isometric.
Cool. Yes, then we can look at the thing from different angles, right? That's what's fun about it, I think. I remember you saying you were like really into that.
Yeah, we can play with it too, like going from isometric to orthographic, or even orthographic to perspective. It's kind of nice to create, how is it called? Trompe-l'œil.
Oh, yeah, like a optical
illusion,
yeah, which we are very, we get very excited about that.
I love optical,
Anything
I
that
really
kind of
like
makes
that.
you question your perception, I really enjoy.
Yeah, abstract
Yeah.
art I like. I
Yay.
enjoy more than something
And with
that is too linear.
yeah, and with isometric, like any cube looks like an hexagon, and you can arrange things with beautiful patterns just because you see it from a different angle and it's kind of flat because of the orthographic projection.
Cool. Oh, you're throwing out all
That's-
of my favorite words. Patterns, trompe-l'œil. Do we want to swap out our donut for a cube then? I've been trying, truth be told, to integrate a cube into my Raymarch scene for a while, and I can never, for some reason, get the information I'm supposed to pass into the function right somehow. It always ends up looking not like a cube. Like something, there'll be a shape that pops up, but it's not what it's supposed to be. So, yeah. But
Yeah, let's try to make a cube then.
okay.
It will be
But by the
easier
way-
to watch if we position our scene correctly or
Yeah.
not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And do we need to change the camera first on the JavaScript, do you think?
Oh, I
Do we
don't
need
think
to
so.
do something with that?
I think it's all
or
in the
that's
shader
okay?
universe, right?
Okay.
Yeah. Since
Yeah.
since our camera that we're using to Raymarch is in our shader scene, I think that that's where we would be changing out the camera.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Let me grab. Unless someone
And
grabs
by
it.
the way, this when I tried this technique first, I was on a stream, and actually the super easy way to do it, I will show you right now. It's one of my viewers who told me about it, and I'm just never stopped using it. It's a 𝗶𝗀𝗀𝗀, and it is the winner of the 2021 Shader Showdown from Revision.
Is he the one that did the 2D
That's
patterns?
his nickname. Okay.
He did the 2D.
No. I think she meant from this year.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
he was the one that you were against,
okay.
right?
No, I was against Evil,
Okay. My bad.
and then he went against 𝗶𝗀𝗀𝗀, and
Okay.
𝗶𝗀𝗀𝗀 won.
I think I fell asleep after yours, to be honest. I stayed up for you and then I fell asleep. But you, yeah, okay. So I missed the winning one. Sorry.
Well, thank you for staying for mine.
Of course. Wait, I'm just gonna grab the cube from Inigo's. Oh yeah, the box, I guess, is what I'm gonna grab. The box. Here we go. I'm gonna put it above.
So where should we start, by the way?
Well, I'm gonna paste. I'm in the HTML on line 45 right now. I'm gonna paste the SD box. And then, yeah, what is the, I guess P is position and B is box.
Yeah, I usually call BC as corner, because what you're expressing right there is the point that is the furthest from the center.
Okay.
And that's the corner of your box.
P is position, C is box. Corner, my bad. Corner. Okay. That is a lot more clear. I've been scratching my head about what B means for forever.
Yeah, 𝗦𝗲𝗀𝗀𝗀 is really great at finding solution and formulas when it comes to name his variables.
Yeah, it's not.
Yeah, we have a hard time. I think a lot of us have a hard time to understand. For me, in the beginning, like I couldn't understand what that meant. Then slowly you get to understand his language and guess what he is trying to mean. So.
Yeah, but you know,
but I'm really thankful.
I'm no better because I took the habits of coding for being quick. Because when I trained the first time my shadow coding skills, it was for winning Shader Showdowns. So
yeah,
I didn't take the best habits about naming variables.
SD box. So when I'm trying to think of, if I'm trying to like think about what my corner is, I can just put any corner. So if I want,
it's just one, because as it's a cube, you just have to symmetrize it. It's already planned in the formula to be symmetrized.
Okay.
So you just have to define like the corner that is up to the right, let's say, for example.
Okay.
But it has to be a vector 3.
Vect 3.
Yeah.
Ooh, okay.
It's really the position in the space of the corner of your box.
If you
I
declare
put
the same floating number, it's
0.25.
going to be a cube,
Yeah. I'll try 0.25.
because otherwise you will make a rectangle as well, like if you put more.
Let's see if this works. It can't be this easy, and I haven't figured it out on my own. Oh my god, it's this
It is.
easy. Okay.
Yeah.
I just get overwhelmed. I just get overwhelmed when I'm by myself, and then I psych myself out, and I'm like, ah. Okay, cool. Here we have a
You
box,
have a
guys.
box.
We did it.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Oh, and I like that it's rotating on a specific diagonal like that. It feels like a drunk box, kind of. The way that it's flopped. I don't know if you're getting that vibe, but...
And I think if you put like pause, then it wouldn't rotate, and then you have like the blank.
Yes,
Just
I think
the
then it just
cube,
stays still.
which
Maybe
is
we want to start with it
huge.
staying still. Oh, it's so big. Okay.
Yeah, we will need to.
Why is it big?
Because
if you see the position set here on the rotation.
Oh, we can take
formula,
away the
so
1.5, I guess. Maybe.
If you do that, hold on. If you do that, then it's gonna be, I think, huge. Hold on. Yeah, that's why we have it, you know? to
Oh,
somehow-
right. What am I doing? I'm not thinking straight. So if we just put position, do we want to make it position times 0.5?
Okay. Or you can go back with the camera, maybe.
Yeah. This is the kind of things that I meant that we might need to tweak more, because when we created this template and we were just getting started, so, and I think it was not the best hack that we had to like edit the set position here, but instead like in the camera.
For example, here at line 103, you're just going back from 0.1, which isn't enough because you have a big box. So I guess if we do that, I don't know how to it will compile. Okay.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Cool.
Cool. Now it's there.
Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you will see like the opposite, like -2 and 1 here.
Yeah.
Well,
for me, I would have done it that way, because in Unity, to go away, I always minus the Z. But this makes sense too. It's totally fine.
Yeah.
Cool.
Personally, I usually prefer to put minus there and plus in a way that I feel like I take some steps back and I'm looking forward. But it's as your No. It's changed. It doesn't change quite a lot. It's just for
the way you think about it.
Cool. Yeah.
But no problem. It's just.
I'm excited we got a box. I can't believe I can't. I feel like a giant. Fool.
So apparently you already done some orthographic projection. How do you do it usually?
Orthographic orthographic camera I've used in Unity, because it's just an option in the graphic user interface part. So I've never actually like set it up with pure code, but I've used orthographic a lot in my installations because it just makes it easier to map out objects onto like physical spaces for me. But yeah.
Okay, so it's quite simple and funny to do it. When you declare a camera for remarching, it's usually like you have a position which is, let's say me. I am at that position in the word, and you should raise at a plane. And the ray direction you shoot is based on the corner of your plane, which is the UV, kind of like the position of the pixel. And when you want to do orthographic inside a fragment shader, you just move your position, your camera position, and you have all parallel camera ray direction.
Oh.
So you swap, actually. The camera position will be based on the UV for it to just jump from one pixel to another, and your camera direction, your ray direction will always be the same.
Wild.
So all your ray direction are parallel, and that's the camera you are moving along the pixels, instead of having a fixed point and shooting rays in a cornel kind of shape.
Yeah.
That's so
We'll
neat.
look forward to see how that works,
Yeah.
because I was going to say that I've used the orthographic camera, but not in 𝗏𝗲𝗀𝗀
Yeah.
world, in
Yeah.
3ds.
Yeah.
Kind of like, it's already created, so I just choose in 3ds like the orthographic. That's what I meant.
That's so
but
cool,
never
though.
like in 𝗏𝗲𝗀𝗀. So.
This is actually
But
this
that's
fun.
because we're getting started. So.
Yeah. Okay.
So
So
it-
how do we do that?
Here you have your camera position.
Mhm.
Instead of declaring that way, you say UV.
Mhm.
Let's say times 4, for example, to be a bit away of the camera. We will not see a huge difference right there because our cube was already kind of plain, but
Yeah.
when we rotate it,
Mhm.
we might see it appear. Usually, I go backward. That's why. So,
Mhm.
but I
Go
guess
backward
in the
then.
overall,
Okay. Oh
yeah.
wait. So then this in the one I will put as a positive, no? In the normalized
Yeah.
part. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay. Let's
So
do it
you
that
have to
way.
put-
Exactly.
and now you can't declare your direction based on UV because that's what your position do, and you
Right.
all want parallel direction.
Mhm.
So you just do 0, 0 because your direction is forward for every pixel.
Yeah.
And so we don't see. I don't see anything. So
I
I
don't see
guess
anything now. Maybe it was too
let's
big.
debug it.
Did we?
There's a console in there. Do you see a button in
On the
CodePen?
bottom left side,
Yeah.
there's a
Yeah.
console. So
You can click there and then opens a console if like you want to debug like any.
I think
For the people in the chat who's asking right now, just taking a moment while you're debugging, what are we doing? Our goal is that Flopine is going to show us how to create an orthographic camera with 𝗏𝗲𝗀𝗀, and we're going to do just like something with it. And another person asked if we are sharing the CodePen links at all. Yes, we do, but we don't do it right away, like right now when we're streaming. But we do some weeks or days after when we share the replay and the
Yeah.
content. So normally, if you follow us on Twitter, or if you subscribe to our newsletter, you get a ping over there in either of those two channels when the replay is available in YouTube. And then at the same time, we post the CodePen link with the code,
Yeah.
so that you can revise or revisit everything on your own pace.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
Where
can
did-
continue. I
yeah.
just wanted to respond. Those
yeah, no
Sure.
problem.
Trying to look for the cube. Wait, so let me clear the
Yeah.
console for a sec and see if it refreshes, if we get something new in the console. No. Where did it? Oh, okay,
Where
but
are
wait, and
you?
our background disappeared. So something. Oh no, wait. So we have the blue background. Well, we have our gradient background. That's working. So our cube maybe is
either
Too
too
far?
big or too small.
To maybe
Yeah,
to,
I think it's too big or too small.
What if I put 5 here?
Where are you? Because
On line
Flopine is in
103.
line 62.
Oh, my bad. Sorry.
Oh, so what happens?
Wait, let me put back. I'm gonna put back the camera position to 20 on the Z. And now, where you said you were on line 62.
Two.
Okay.
Yeah, I just changed that, but at some point we saw the cube, and I'm not sure it was the cube, but
Really?
because it was all red.
Oh yeah,
I
no,
know
that
this.
was
I
me
saw
because
something.
I changed the camera position to 5, and so the screen flashed. Let me put it back to 5. Maybe we'll get the
Yeah.
red
Mhm.
again. No. Oh, yep. Okay. Okay. So we were too
But
far,
I don't see
maybe.
any error.
That means I feel like now
Okay.
we're inside. So if I do -5,
If you do -5, you have to do 1
1.
in the right direction.
Because if I
Now it's
wait,
blue
so
again.
if I keep -1 and I'm at 5 and we're red, but then if I do 20, 25, we just see the background. What does that mean? That means that the box is too far?
Yeah, maybe we are too far from the box. Maybe. How many iterations do you do in your rematching?
I think we set it to 100, and we might be doing too many. We have 200 steps.
200.
Yeah.
Okay.
68 maybe?
It's on the top. The max steps is yeah.
Yeah.
No, 200 is good, I guess, but maybe it's
Yeah.
the rematch max distance.
Oh,
That is
yeah.
10 right
We're
now.
at 10 right now.
Should that be smaller or bigger?
Bigger, I would
bigger,
think.
or maybe not used at all. Actually, like it's a way of optimizing, but
Yeah, show us, please. I love optimizing and performance. So do us all those tips.
you're already doing the optimization with the 𝗏𝗲𝗀𝗀𝗀 max dist. I was suggesting to
Get
get
rid of the
it. So no,
optimization.
no optimization.
Okay.
Wait,
Okay.
let me increase, at least let's increase it to 50. Maybe that will give us something.
But
It's another
to see
color. A different color.
to see if it is our cube, I maybe we can put rotation instead of pause.
Okay.
Yeah, we can try that.
See if it's 3D at least.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's 3D. So that's because we were in the orthographic position and you just displayed the gradient. So I guess it was all the same color.
Then if you want, leave the rotation for now until we find the cube.
We're very close to it, that means, right? So we need to move farther away.
So that's so for an orthographic camera in remoting, the way of going back a bit is to change the multiplier of the UV here.
Oh.
So if I do ×5 instead of ×2,
Cool.
I'm further
there
away.
There it is. Yay. Awesome.
And it's fun because this view is making like the colors to look different than we had before, which was more like a gradient, and now we actually see like color stops.
Yeah. Awesome.
I look forward to learn this. Yeah.
So yeah, if you want to go again a bit backward, just increase this multiplier there. And this number is actually, if you put it too low and you have a scene that is quite spread, you might see your first plane being cut a bit.
Oh, yeah, I've had that in some 𝗏𝗲𝗀𝗀𝗀. When I was trying to create like using this function to maybe have the screen full of circles. And then the ones, when I was animating them, the ones in the corner were distorted. And that's what...
Oh, that's different still, no? I think you're talking about the near far cutoff, right? Yeah. That I've had before.
Okay,
where
not the one from the sides.
No, but that has more to do with, I think, the perspective. I don't think you get that in orthographic because it's just going to be, right? I think that that's how it works. I think perspective will give you like a weird fisheye like thing on the side. And then orthographic is very flat, but it'll cut off, like at a certain point, even if the camera's still far away, depending on the z-axis number, it'll cut part of the shape off just because.
Yeah, because you're too close to the camera, but still it's not a wide aperture like you have with FOV. So it's just basically cut everything, which can be quite an interesting effect if you want maybe to play with it. Like you have an orthographic camera, you have a scene which is maybe infinite, and you move into that scene with the with the near clipping, cutting things.
Yeah.
While you're going on your scene.
It's called the clipping plane in the frustrum. And I know that stuff. I've seen all of these terms floating around in Unity. So yes, I would say yes. But I don't know all of them by heart.
It is kind of like setting up your near clip plane, but in an orthographic projection, which is a bit different, because the frustrum to me is this conic, this pyramidal shape you have when your position is fixed and your ray direction is going in the UV. In an orthographic projection, maybe we can say we also have a frustrum, but then it's not a pyramid. It's like a box.
Right.
Like our frustrum is a box.
I keep forgetting that our camera's like dancing around in this setup that we're doing and not fixed, but cool. Okay, yeah.
So now we did half of the work.
Wow, already. Cool.
Yeah. Now you just have to rotate all your scene, like all your SDF with specific numbers.
Okay.
And so how does rotation work?
Rotation is based off of another So
I
look at the
rotate
function
uses
above.
the rotation matrix. Yeah, there you are.
Yeah,
Line 22.
so axis and angle. So I guess, where am I here?
Where'd you go?
So if I change the position, is that something I can multiply? It's a matrix directly, so I can multiply it. But I just want to multiply one axis,
I think that you
not
can
the three.
do that.
One
Because
axis?
There
What
is
do you
this.
mean?
vec 3. So yeah, you
Just
could
look
definitely
at
pick one
line
axis.
40.
Yeah.
It's a vec 3, so you could
Okay.
pick one.
Yeah.
Where
What
would
is
you...
V?
V
I think
is...
it's position.
Yeah, like...
It's
Yeah.
my feeling because if you look at it, is where we have the position X, Y, Z.
Mm.
So that's like the UV kind of.
Okay.
Rotate, axis, angle, and yeah, axis, angle, and position. I would assume that V probably stands for like vector, as in the vector of the position. But
Somebody said that V for velocity could be,
you
but
think?
the velocity based on the position.
Oh, that makes sense because we're
Well, it
moving
could be no
around in
because that.
space. Yeah.
Yeah.
Velocity.
So velocity based on position.
Okay. I usually use like 2D rotation because I usually just want to rotate. Oh yeah, but I'm.
If you have a function
If you
you'd
have
rather
it,
use,
just bring
you can
it in.
definitely bring it in.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
You don't have to
You
use
are-
what we have here.
You're not
Please.
constrained to our.
Feel free,
Our
exactly. Feel free
base
to bring any
template.
function and share it with us because the stuff that we have here, for example, we got it from, for example, this. I think I brought it up here from watching 𝗙𝗀𝗀𝗀, another streamer that's doing sometimes 3As and ray marching, and I got those rotating functions from him.
Okay.
But because I needed the 3 axis, so. But yeah, please bring any other. that you-
Okay.
We
Well,
like to
it's also
collect bits and
interesting
pieces of
to.
codes. Yeah, I mean, also
It's
if
also-
it makes you curious and you want to poke at it, you can totally do that too. Whatever inspires you really. Because if you want to try and rotate one axis of the 3 we have,
It's
one
just
vector,
that
sorry.
I need to rotate one axis with an angle and another one with another angle. And as I can see here, it seems like you take all the 3 axes and move them with the same angle.
Yes.
Because
Yeah,
this is not a vector
exactly.
3, so you can't say I want the x-axis to be rotated this way. And
wait, I can't find you guys. What line are you on?
I'm at 22. The rotation, the
Got it.
rotation matrix
Found you.
from 𝗙𝗀𝗀𝗀.
Okay, cool.
And it seems that all axes will have the same angle of rotation, if I read it correctly.
We could probably send it another angle if you want.
Well, let me. I have another function which is like a condensed
bring it in,
version for
please.
just two axes, like one axis, but then which is like the rotation matrix, the basic rotation matrix.
Oh yeah, Nicole suggested we could also do something like add 0.5 to the angle. I had thought of that too, but then make the second angle relative to the first. That could also be a thing. But let's try your function if you want.
I think the idea from Nicole is quite interesting. If you want to animate something with a slight offset, for example, like you want in the y-axis to go with a speed of time, and you want the x-axis to go with a speed of time plus 0.5. Yes, I think it could be super interesting. But right now, I really need a fixed angle and specific number. So
just bring your function.
That's just that. Yeah. And okay, not found. I killed everything.
Oh really? No.
I don't
She's
know.
in line 46. She's in line 46, by the way, Eliza.
I have
Thank
a
you.
not found and a blank page.
Oh really? Oh
Yeah.
For me, I have the cube.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, me
so
too. Me too.
I guess I have a problem
Try
maybe with my
occasionally.
GPU.
Try to
CodePen
reload.
poops itself, so you just have to just like refresh your page.
Hmm,
Yeah,
I think.
reload.
Yeah, okay, I have it.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
No, it's good. I mean, if it's nice. This is why I like CodePen like collaboratively, because if you're by yourself and it poops itself, you don't know. You just have to guess.
Yeah, sorry, I was.
No, it's fine. Okay.
Yeah.
I see you.
And
Blind.
now we have to rotate on the y-axis and the x-axis all the scene. So we can just do, as we declare a matrix there, we can just multiply our position by that directly.
Okay.
You can't do that in HLSL. You have to use the mul function, but in GLSL you can just multiply.
Week. I tried to port a lot of ray marching stuff that I'd done in GLSL into Unity, and I kept getting errors. It was so annoying. I was like, I don't understand. And then I realized that I had to use that mult function.
Yeah, you can't multiply your matrices to a vector directly with HLSL, which is so bad.
And also, all of the matrices are float 4x4 or float 3x3. All of this, like, everything's a float in HLSL. It threw me through such a loop. My brain was like, what is going on?
So if I want to rotate something along the y-axis, I have to multiply my matrix by the position and the 2 over axis, which is not the one I want to rotate around.
Oh, there you are.
Well,
okay.
That's how I...
Okay.
So right there, I will, let's say, root of something. I will rotate around the y-axis because I put x and z there. So in the y-axis, I want to rotate from p divided by 4, so 45 degrees. Do you have pi?
Normally we do.
Okay. I think this time we don't have it, but we can bring it in. Hold on a second.
Really?
No, it's not there because we didn't use it. So. But we have other pens. Hold on, I will bring it in from this one.
I'm just going to answer Nicole in the chat, who gets anxiety whenever she hears the words Unity or HLSL. I used to be the same, but I actually have grown to really love it. This week, playing around with it, really porting GLSL into HLSL was like a proper review of both. So now I feel like it's really in my brain. But it did stress me out a little bit last year when I was trying to do this. It was actually really nice to do it this time, and I realized that I understood what I was doing. It's like a funny feeling when you actually like aren't just stitching pieces of code together that you kind of understand. Oh, there we go. Back in action. Pi is there.
Ah, thanks.
Yeah.
So where was I? There. So you rotate all your scene by p divided by 4. Let me just put back pause here instead of rotation for the cube. Okay, so now we are seeing the edge, one of the edge of the cube, because we turned it from which is kind of funny as an effect. Yeah, we can definitely play with that as a.
It looks like the screen, you know, on all TVs.
Totally, I was thinking the same thing. It's like that when there's no show on TV.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's our first rotation, and then the second is on the x-axis, and it's this one which is like super peculiar, and I can't really explain it. Just have to keep it in mind.
Okay.
So you just do a rotation by an angle of arctangent of 1 divided by square root of 2.
Okay.
In the x-axis. And now we have
it's Monument Valley vibes, like right away. You were totally right. That's crazy. and the shapes of the colors are kind of fun.
Yeah, and now every cube will look like an hexagon. because you're just in a isometric perspective.
Yeah, that's so cool. And by the way, when you're in this perspective, for example, I can see, because we're using the color palette, that we have these color steps, right? But is there a way to still like have some gradient effect, or is it always like these color steps because we made the camera look at the colors or the rays that you were explaining?
So what did you put in your palette? Yeah, you put the ray depth.
Oh yeah, we probably just have to play around with the different, where is palette? It's at the top, right?
It's in
Yeah.
93.
Yeah, so brightness,
Yeah.
contrast, the oscillation and the phase probably need to be different.
The face, if you want to keep this rainbow colors, you don't need to change it. You just need to change that. Maybe ray depth, as Ilithya said, is different because we are moving along an orthographic projection.
Right.
So the way of spreading
Exactly.
might be. Yeah, I think you're right.
I
So
was just wondering.
if we put, oh yeah, ray depth is already the current distance, so it's already a float. It's not the position.
No, it's a float. Yeah. The position is the ray length, actually, kind of, I think, in this.
What if we just take, oh no, I guess.
If we take the position, like pose, and we say pose dot z, for example, to put like the current depth, yeah, there is no depth because we are in the.
Oh,
yeah,
so maybe another way to see the colors. Okay.
So funny.
Yes,
but now I see more the cube.
Really?
Like in this isometric way. Yeah.
That's so funny. Oh, I see. Yeah. Oh, it's super optical illusion-y now. That's funny. You could see it 5 different ways, right? Better. I didn't see it at first. I was like, oh, it's like a stop sign. And now I see a box on the corner of a street.
But
yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's so funny. Ooh,
like
okay.
yeah, and it looks like a 2D shapes, which is, and that's where for example, sometimes I usually I sometimes play with the lighting because in isometric no lighting really gives you a feeling of hexagonal grid. For example, if I put many cubes right there, you see, wow, it's a 2D hexagonal grid, it's great, and then boom, you bring the lighting and it's all 3D. And you just change the color by putting lighting, and that's it.
Do we want to try and bring in lights? We have to do that.
Yeah.
I don't think this scene has lights in it.
No, this one it doesn't. The one that we had with 𝗏𝗀𝗀𝗀. I can never say his name. Sean.
Yeah. Cool. We could try and do that. Do we want to do that, or do we want to try and repeat, or because you were talking earlier about patterns? Should we do lights before we try to do patterns?
As you wish, we can duplicate the cube with space repetition if you want before adding the light, or we can add.
Because I think we did some space repetition with Sean last week, quickly towards the end of the stream, so it could be fun to, or not last week, but the week before.
Yeah, we did quickly with him actually.
I in 2D. At least, maybe not always in 3D, but I learned something quite interesting about repetition, domain repetition in space. It didn't click at first, but I like it in remarching because and in a fragment shader, because repeating the space is taking the integer part of your number of your space, and it's taking the fractional part, and having the IDs of each of your cell is taking the integer part. And it sounds stupid, like I didn't understand that at first, and then when I got it, I really was more able to play also with the time, for example, because the time works the same way. If you take if you want to repeat the time, you can take the fractional part of it, and and you can put them back together. You can put the time together back again by adding the floor part and the fract part. And on the fractional part, if you pause your fractional part of the time while still adding it to the floor of your time, you will have something that will do some granted motion, like, it starts slowly, it go fast, and it go back slowly, and you just take
like
the
easing.
floor part, the fractional part, you add them together, but you changed the fractional part for lerping without a lerp, with a kind of a tough movement,
So it's kind of like it feels like the way I hear it is like an easing function. That's what it makes me think of. But that's so
kinda,
cool.
yeah. But without doing like the derivative of some obscure function.
I mean, the word derivative to me already throws me off. I'm like, I don't know. I mean, I know what it means, but I don't know how to employ it. Cool. Yeah.
But we can just do space repetition to begin with if you want.
Sure.
Yeah. Let's see your take. As opposed
like
to Sean, maybe it's in a different way.
I usually, when I'm doing isometric, I like to use a clump repetition. It's on IQ's website too. He added it a few months back at the bottom of its page about distance function. It's quite interesting because when you're in isometric, if you do infinite repetition, that's where you will have problem with your neo-clipping.
Okay.
So keep it limited can help you with that.
Yeah, probably that was the problem. I was using, which one? I think I was using something called Flopine, which is on Inigo's, and that's when I was having like the problem in the corners, depending on where I had the camera.
Oh, the stretchy thing you're talking about.
No, I was talking about this infinite repetition.
Oh, my bad. Yeah.
Inigo has some functions for that, because I had like a lot of bubbles.
I remember that.
Very much with the circles.
Cool.
And I did it with this function that Inigo has to kind of like repeat whatever primitive shape you have.
Yeah. And the clump repetition is quite useful.
Okay, yeah.
Where are you?
I can
here
type
you are. I think I found you. You're on line 50, right?
Right now I'm on line 23.
Oh, my bad. Okay. Oh, there you are. Captain Anonymous is your name.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
No, it's totally fine.
No, but let me change it if I find where I should do it.
I think if you don't log in, you can't. So if you don't have a
me neither. So I think just leave it.
Don't worry
I think at this point.
I'm Captain Anonymous today. Okay.
Yeah.
Fine.
Yeah.
So, what should I return? Another way of optimizing your code, if you want, is to some function that are just one line can be written as ts define. Sorry, ts is a function. As a define.
The hash,
the hash.
Like the pi.
Yeah, and with that, you don't need to declare if your position is a vector 1, 2, or 3. So for domain repetition, it's really great because with one line, you can use it with any number of axes you will need.
I remember a stream of yours that a beer and a shader stream that you do. You had defined a whole bunch of stuff at the top of your screen of your code, and I was like, "What is that? Like, why is she defining all the things?" Now I get it.
Yeah, cool. I really love to use define. This past few months, I think it's elegant, and I actually have for my thesis. I'm thinking a lot about the aesthetic of the code itself and the code being part of the art.
I wanted to ask you the most annoying question for a PhD student ever, but I didn't dare. But now that you've talked about your thesis, I can ask you, what's your thesis about?
It's a working title, but I will write a thesis about mathematics, arts, and code.
Cool. Okay.
in the practice of coding your own art.
I love it. That's what I wrote my master's thesis
Okay.
on, but not as a PhD, as like a baby master's and my MDiv at Paris 8. That's so funny. But I was not nearly as knowledgeable about you. I was super theoretical. So.
Yeah, you know, I'm not. I produced a lot, but there are so many stuff I still don't figure it out. Maybe theoretically you know more than me.
I don't think so. No, I don't think so. I wouldn't say that. But if you publish your PhD, I would love to read it because it'll probably be a way more detailed and like complete analysis of something that I was scratching the surface of in like 2011. So.
Yeah, of course, it's public thesis, so at least it will be published in French library and stuff. But I would love to take some part of it and take the time of translating it.
That would be great.
Because it's so bad that it's just a French paper that will sleep in French universities. I found it a bit sad.
No, you should definitely translate it. Oh my goodness.
Yeah. Then people like me and a lot of the viewers can read it.
Yeah.
I will remember that, Eliza.
Honestly, I love it. I've helped so many of my French friends in France since I've lived here with that stuff, and I love it, especially when it's a topic that I love so much. So, yeah.
Okay. I will keep it in mind.
Awesome.
So yeah, you can do a define of your repetition function, and then you will be able to use it with 1, 2, or 3 axes, whatever. And so I usually call it cie_rep for clamp repetition, but I can give it like a great name maybe because we are clean today. And for it to work, we need a position, we need a period of repetition, and we need some limits. We will use limits to not doing infinite cubes.
Okay, let me do position.
Could be like the screen size kind of.
Yeah, for example, we can make like we have a box that size is 1, so we can make repetition of 1.5, for example, and make this repetition 2 times on one axis, for example, and you will see like some kind of a floor made of cubes.
Yeah.
So the formula, if I remember correctly, is my position equal P minus C times. And then that's where you clamp your repetition. And what do you want to clamp? How your repetition is made is by taking the round of P divided by C. And then you limit it with minus your limit and plus your limit. And that's it.
Wait, what's C?
A period, sorry. You see, I called it period because for the stream, and usually I called it C, and then I mixed everything up as usual.
Just because you just put like letters for the
Sorry.
Right.
No, it's totally fine.
No.
And now if we want to try it, and also when you do a define function that is directly taking one of the inputs and change its value, you don't have to, when you write it, when you use it, let's use it in the scene, you don't have to say pose dot blah blah equal. That's the define that will take care of that for you. So you just call your function and put the axis you want there. Like, let's say x-axis. Then
we need line 74, Eliza.
Sorry.
Yes,
so we can see.
No, it's fine. I zoned out for a second, so thank you. 75. Here we go.
For the streamers, because otherwise they cannot follow.
Oh, sorry.
No. That's my fault, not yours.
Okay. So you can just you don't have to say pose.x equal that's in your define, so you're good to go. Right there we need a period, let's say 2.
Okay.
And we need to how many times we want to repeat our cube. So let's say 2 times.
2 times for now.
And 2 isn't too far away, so if I put 2.5, we should see some cuts separation. Yeah.
Cool.
Yay! I mean, you increase it even more, like 4, then it's completely separated or something.
Yeah.
I imagine.
Is this how you built what you were doing for Shader Showdown when you made the long corridors with the columns and the spinning cube that was jumping?
This shader wasn't an isometric one.
Okay.
So I think I went for the classic repetition, which is a modulo of the space and it's infinite and whatever.
Cool.
So, and as I did define instead of a function for my repetition, I can just add y, for example, and then it will work with 2 axes.
Oh, there you are. Okay. Oh, wow. Okay.
So cool.
That is so neat.
This is so quick. To instead of using the one from Inigo, for example.
Yeah. Wow.
Wow.
And let me get a big. I'm at line 117. I will just go back a bit to see it more.
So increase the UV. Okay. Yeah.
And there, you see, we're starting to get some near clipping.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like it looks like stars at the moment.
Yeah. But yeah, we have some clipping there on the top right. So I guess instead of putting 10 there in the camera position, I put like 30. Maybe it will avoid.
Even higher.
Oh, I see.
And I don't have the.
Cool. Okay, now I see it.
And I don't have the.
I didn't see any clipping.
Oh, you have to pull your screen over a little bit. I did it before and I pulled it. I saw it.
Yeah, because I'm in a very mini laptop at the moment. So I think. Cool. But you know, now I see like there's like on the top right corner like a triangle in one of them. Do you see that, like a blurred triangle?
I saw that before, and then it disappeared for me.
Yeah, it disappeared. Okay. That's the effect of the near clipping.
Okay. That's the okay. So actually
that's why
Okay, so I saw it for a second and now it's gone. Sorry. Yeah.
And that's why I kind of pushed the near clipping a bit behind, a bit more.
I couldn't see it before, so.
Yeah, I changed the 10 that was in line 117 to 30, and that's
cool.
That's helping with those kind of bug glitch. And you can also use it with the 3 axes, but I'm not sure we'll see quite a lot of difference. I'm at 74 again. Yeah.
Especially because it's not moving right now, right? So if we were rotating them, maybe we would we would see a difference. Yeah.
So yeah, you have some kind of a pattern that looks like 2D, and exactly. And actually, if we put lighting on it, we will start to see more cubes, like more like cubes.
Yeah, let's do that so that we can totally see that.
I need to take a quick break.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I would like to write the normal function to get the normals for the lighting.
Cool. Let me see if I think I have. I'll try and grab it actually from the because I don't want to rewrite that from scratch.
I was thinking the same. Go on your break.
Yeah, sorry.
Come back and see if we can manage.
Yeah. Stretch your legs.
I'll be back in a minute.
Okay.
Yeah, no problem.
Get normals. There it is. I got it. Get normals.
Did you find it? Because I was gonna go and look.
Get normals.
And I'm gonna delete the stuff that we're not using for the moment, so that we're not too confused.
I'm gonna put get normals. I'm gonna put it right underneath the rotation function that Flopine added. Okay. Voila. Get normals. And do I need anything else from there? Base color, diffuse. I'm going to bring in the diffuse light that he created with us, just in case.
And then we can ask her if she wants to use it.
Yeah.
Oh, she's already back.
Maybe
Okay,
we
that
don't
was
need it.
pretty
Maybe
quick.
we do. Okay, so I brought in the getNormal function that we used last week, and I'm also just pasting this function that creates a diffuse light. But we don't have to use it if you don't like it, or if you have something you prefer. And now I'm trying to remember how we combined all the pieces, because I think last week we put everything together in a function.
In the shade. I think it was called shade.
Yeah.
Check out the function called shade, and it's in there that we put everything together.
Everything together. Here it is.
Maybe I have it open. Oh, I have it open as well.
Okay.
Yeah, it's inside shade.
Uh-oh, I think we have an error somewhere. The screen has gone black. So before you paste it, let me just comment out the diffuse and the normals. getNormal. Oh, okay, yeah, so wait, so there's something in the getNormal function that creates a bug.
Oh, okay.
Float, epsilon.
I think it's...
Oh, maybe epsilon? Do we have epsilon in here?
No, it's there. It's defined there.
Okay.
You see?
Yeah.
I think it's the scene. The scene
do we not
function.
have a scene? No, we have a scene though. Right
yeah,
under the torus.
But it's declare.
It's declare after.
It's declare after.
Oh, my bad. I put it too high. I put it too high. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I think.
Sorry, I thought I was being
intelligent,
putting it above everything.
It's intelligent when you put things in define.
Yeah. I'm gonna start doing that because that feels very elegant, but also just like handy for not creating these problems.
But how can you put in define something as big as like getting the normal?
So every function that is one-lining can be a define. You just have to be careful because sometimes it will not be able to, when you call your function and it is a define, sometimes it will not be able to process it if as a parameter you give it a calculus. Like for example, in my clump repetition, if I wanted to put my position as pose times 2 or pose times another variable, it might give me errors. So sometimes with define, you need to define one variable more. Like for example, you want to use the clump repetition with a position that is based on the time. Be careful to do like before using the clump repetition, let's say a vec3 my new position equal position times time, for example, and then use my new position when you call the clump repetition. Also, some function can be that are not one line, for example, two lines split by a comma. That can be a define too, but if you use it in a if, in an if statement, you will have to put brackets, because even if you do just if my function define and it's just one line and you say, oh, okay, I just want to do one thing in that if, so I don't use brackets. You will end up with some weird behavior because it will just replace the calling of your define by what's inside. And if inside the define you have two different phrases separated by a comma, it will just execute the first one. Because you put brackets in your if, in your condition.
Okay. Yeah.
So there is still things that need to be taken care of, or you need to be careful with define, but that's why usually I try to use them for one line kind of function, and also declaring
not really long functions.
So for example, the normal one, I usually don't do a define for it.
Okay, yeah, because I was going to say that one's very long. So
you can make it less long because usually computing just the minus part is enough.
Really? So just C minus
then show Show us.
So like the minified version of it, which
Yeah.
is usually good for anything. I never had problem with it.
Okay.
It's not just as mathematically accurate as this one, but yeah. Let's call it get normal small. So you still have a vector 3p, which is your position. I need an epsilon as u. So let's call it epsilon. Oop.
𝗙𝗶. I like that. 𝗙𝗶.
Oops. And then you just go for the normalize.
Okay, from Eliza.
Yeah, your scene.
Okay.
And instead of doing sin pos plus epsilon minus blah blah blah, you just have your positive like that, and you just subtract the negative part of everything there. So like you do sin of p minus
epsilon
dot xyy or LGG. It's okay. It's no problem. It's the same. And yeah, you can just copy pasted that dx blah blah, and that should be the same. Maybe I have too many
brackets.
I think one should be good.
Yeah. No, you still need the other one to the normalize function. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay.
I think because you're not using. Oh, there you are.
Yeah.
I
do the same. Yeah. Or else I get so confused with my brackets. I need to put them underneath.
I need a comma there.
Yeah.
I forgot a comma there.
Yeah.
Okay, we should be good.
Yeah. Okay,
And
we
I
still need to put
commented
it
the other
down though,
ones.
I think. And then we need to bring it into the function. We still have to bring it below,
I think so.
right? So
yeah, because it has to be after the scene.
This, and I'll put it below
The scene.
𝗏. Where's scene? Main, 𝗏. Oh, it's a smaller scene function.
It's above the 𝗏.
There you go. I'm on line 96.
Yeah, okay.
It's kind of not formatting for some reason, but
why does it?
Is there a button to clean it? Format? Do I dare format it? Here, I'm just going to click format and see what happens. Oh, it didn't change anything. Okay. But we still have a bug. But that's because we don't use it in our scene function. Get normal.
No, I don't think so.
Using it.
I have trouble reading the console log because it just talked to me about linear to RGB stuff. I don't see the
You have to scroll to the top, and then, for example, if you scroll to the top of the error, after
to the top. Oh.
Yeah, there's a scroll bar, and then at the top, let me see, it says error in pos, undeclared identifier. Where do we have pos? Oh, it's P.
Oh,
because
sorry.
We had pos. Yeah, because the vector 3. Yeah, no problem. Yeah, now it works.
Cool. So that's a way of writing normal. You just nuke the positive side of it and just use the negative.
Yeah, I think I've never seen this because not only like the way Sean showed us in the last session, but I was reading a blog and I found like a very similar way to get normal, that it was always like with these two kind of pictures. So I've never seen this take.
What was the bug?
There was pose. Pose was defined inside the scene as a parameter, and we don't have any pose. It's P. The parameter is P.
Cool.
Yeah.
Awesome.
But it's. I think I learned the first part. The first way of doing it. With the big function. It's the first one I learned too, and it's totally valuable. This one is just a dirty trick.
Nice. And did you come up with the dirty trick, or did you learn it from somebody else?
I learned it from 𝗏𝗀, which is another Shader Showdown contestant. It's also a French guy. We are actually colleagues. at Don't It's quite fun. I got my job thanks to him. And he's a really nice guy. He's also part of the Cookie Collective and a really, really talented shader coder. And
what
also,
do you do in your job, by the way? Because you said he helped you to get your job. Are you doing shaders in your job, or?
I would love to, but yeah, sometimes I'm doing shader. I'm a technical artist at a video game studio called Don't Know Entertainment. That's the studio behind Life is Strange, Remember Me, Tell Me Why more recently.
Yeah.
Okay.
I love Life is Strange.
I don't know this.
It's narrative.
Yeah.
It's narrative games.
I didn't expect to like Life is Strange because usually narrative games I just don't naturally gravitate towards, but a friend of mine started playing it next to me and I got like super hooked. I was like, oh my goodness, what is happening? Must continue. Yeah, it's fun.
So, and we are using Unreal Engine. So usually when I do shaders, I just connect boxes together.
Yeah, it's node-based, right?
Yeah. So I don't write code. But I do other stuff that are interesting. I'm playing a lot with Houdini this past few days. And that's really, really interesting to come up with tools for artists with Houdini. It's really a great challenge and
like
really interesting.
Deep rabbit hole, I think, from what I've been told.
Yeah.
It is.
Do you find that
it is?
Yeah. It is one of the deepest rabbit hole I've never went to.
I thought shaders was pretty deep,
I would
and
like
everyone
to
was
play
like,
with that.
Houdini. I was like, I don't know.
Yeah, Houdini is tougher than shader. It's wider in what you can do with it. But yeah, you should definitely try it, Ilithya. It's really fun.
I'll try.
Can I ask you?
On my mind.
Do you find coding creating shaders with a node-based system, like thinking about them in the opposite direction? Because I've always found that you have to, like, the way I would write out a line of code if I'm doing it in like in a node-based, in Unity there's what's it called, shader graph, for example, and I stopped using it because it was too weird. I was like doing a somersault in my brain because you think about it backwards. I don't know, that's how it feels like to me.
Yeah, you have to think backwards, definitely, and that's what makes me super frustrating.
Okay, I'm glad I'm not the only one. This is wonderful.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
But I understand the practical aspect of it. It's just that I started shader with code, so obviously coding is more natural to me when it comes to shader, and also I find it quite frustrating because what you can do with 10 nodes, it's just one line of code because it's mathematics. So in a line of code, adding two variables together is just this variable plus this variable, and just adding stuff together is already one node. So when you have, for example, when you want to do a hash function in a code, like a really basic and dirty hash, but sometimes it's what you need, you take the fractional part of a sinus, and inside the sinus you have a dot product. And then at the end of the sinus, you multiply your sinus by a big number, and that's how you have a hash. It's just one line of code, but the fract, the sign, the dot, all the values in between you need to enter because each value is a node. I think you can come up easily with...
You need a subgraph for it.
6, with 6 or 8 nodes just to do a hash function that you can do in one line of code. So it's frustrating.
I'm glad. I thought it was just me. I was like, am I not being patient enough? No, I am.
I'm not the most patient human being too, so my same issue here.
But I have the problem, I've been trying to learn Touch Designer for a year, and I don't have the patience with the nodes. I feel much faster when I want to do something with a shader, just with code, instead of like touching Touch Designer. It just takes me forever.
Yeah. And also, I have the feeling, which is I think not totally true, that with code you're talking to your computer more. Rather than with nodes, you know, like nodes is like your computer taking your hand and saying, everything will be fine. I will give you a nice UI to work with.
Yeah, that's so funny that you mentioned that, because I just said that in an interview that I did for a blog, and they asked me what difference did I felt like when I was doing shaders instead of using like a tool or another language, and I just said that in my answer, that I felt that I'm talking to the computer directly instead of like, you know, having to use a UI to create the stuff. So yeah, that's so funny that you
I
have
really,
the same.
yeah, that's really funny.
perspective.
I really love the creative coding community, because when you first start to understand that you like talking to computers and understand them, it can sound like you're a crazy person, and finding people who are as crazy as you
Yeah, exactly.
is kind of great.
Yeah, yeah.
You guys can hear me, yeah? My
Super
other
cool.
mic just stopped working.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay, good. Okay,
yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
Oh
Sorry if
no,
my mic or my
the
audio is
battery.
now shitty, guys. My bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, the battery died, which is weird
You
because I've
sound the
charged it
same
all
to me.
morning, but
It's okay to me.
Ah,
okay,
okay.
good.
Yeah, for me too.
Wonderful.
Quite good.
All right.
Yeah.
I think
Cool.
I'm just looking at the time. We have 20 minutes.
Yes.
Ah,
Let's implement
okay.
some life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's do
Okay.
that.
So you
Now I'll be back. Continue. I mean, I'm taking
What
a
do you
sure.
mean? Oh, you're
okay.
taking your break.
Ah,
Okay, yeah.
Yeah,
Go
yeah.
ahead. Okay.
okay.
I'll
So now that we've got our normals,
Yeah.
where are you? What line are you on?
I don't know. I'm just scrolling to
Okay, cool.
find yeah, the diffuse function. I'm using basically the same, but I usually put the clamp numbers after the threshold, and I'm not sure in which order it should be done, because sometimes it's different between GLSL and HLSL.
Yeah.
How a step work or how clamp work, it's, you never know.
Yeah, but those kinds of surprises I find super interesting if I'm patient, because then I get to really see if I understand it properly, like the idea of the function, and like
Yeah.
what it's supposed to. Should I? Do you have a preferred function, or do you want to just we can like modify this one?
Usually I just write directly in the color. I don't
Okay,
go
let's do that
by
then.
but
Yeah, let's do that. So wait, we have the normals.
yeah, at line 127 you declare the shape color.
The shape color, yeah, which we
And
create with the cost palette.
yeah, and instead of doing that, we can in the vector 4 directly write your dot product between your normal. Do we get there somewhere? So vector 3 normals equal where did we put it? The get normal small.
Yeah.
Of your current position, which is pose, I guess. And then, oops. So line 128, you can usually directly do normals. And do we have a light declare or?
No.
That was the diffuse, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think. Let me
No light.
I can, Leah, you can just declare like a vector 3, which will give you the directionality of the light. And
yeah, no, we didn't. Yeah, we used the diffuse function last time. My bad. Okay.
I usually normalize it, but if you want to use it for specular calculation, you don't want to normalize it. It needs to be normalized for the directional lighting. But if you use the same directional light for your specular and for your lighting, don't normalize it for the specular calculation. Usually I did that.
Used specular lighting in GLSL. I've only ever played with that in Unity.
Well, in the color palette, we're kind of having some specular, no? Yeah. So, but we don't have to use the color palette either. Like we can just have a flat color in our cubes. I don't mind. Whatever is faster. So.
There are techniques to light, like quickly light things. Oh, why does it do that?
Yeah, I saw black and blue
Black and blue.
cubes. Yeah.
Oh, I think that's because the background is lerping in and out of the colors. But then why are they all black?
Oh, you
I
already had defined the light out there. Oh,
yeah,
okay.
I defined the light in.
I was looking, where's the light?
This is way March 2020. Hey,
Yeah.
I
Oh,
see
cool.
some shades.
Yeah, I see
Okay.
something.
Shadows.
Yeah.
Let me try displaying the normals just to see if we don't have a problem with this calculation, I guess. Oh, yeah. If I do that, will it work? Nope. Okay, so let's look at the normals. Ah,
Blue and black, is that okay?
no, it's not okay. The normals should be giving us the shape of cubes.
Yeah,
We don't have.
They should have the
Okay.
relief. How do you say that? The different sides.
Yeah.
We should see the edges at least, like.
Yeah. Okay.
So what's the problem?
Is that? Do we
Yeah, I
calculate
see a gradient instead.
in the get normal small function? Did we inverse the x, y, y, or any of that stuff? I don't think so.
No.
We're using the scene, which is that, and that's a box, obviously. So it's 3D.
And then we get the normal.
X.
Could it be the order of this vector tree inside the get normal small?
I don't think so. Like I'm taking this value and putting it in the x-axis, the y-axis, and the z-axis. So I think that's good.
Yeah.
Maybe the pose is not. Maybe the pose is not the. Ah.
Maybe because we are multiplying against the rate depth. Hold on, or.
No, I think it was good to keep the rate depth because the rate depth is your distance.
So there must be something here wrong anyway. So.
I think the problem is the pose there, which isn't. I'm using that for calculating the normals, but that's
remove
not,
it?
That's not what you're increasing.
Right. Yeah. I think ray depth is what we're increasing now.
Ray depth is a vector, is a float. Okay.
It's up here. Ray length.
So.
Oh no.
I'm gonna.
My bad. Ray length is what gets rounded.
So at some point, this should constitute a new position, and we don't retrieve it. That might be the problem. Like new p equal that.
Okay, the new position.
Yeah, that's new position. It should have changed something, but now instead of pose, I'm using new p here.
Oh, okay, in the normal one.
Yeah.
Yay!
Normals.
Ah, okay. Wait, hold on. Let me rewind. Is it literally just because you had to pre-declare this inside the scene so that you can?
So you plug that in just
okay.
Got it.
Because otherwise we cannot grab this thing, right? Because it was just 3 parameters. So now you can really grab it as new position.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we need you need the position to compute the normals for each pixel. Each pixel is linked to one position, and you need that position. And you were doing some recursion there, but without storing your position as you go.
Yeah.
It worked because it's recursion, but at some point, if you want to use it outside the loop, you need to declare it. You need to store it somewhere.
Oh, okay. And is it good to declare it here where we have it inside the loop, or?
You
that
have
makes
to
sense.
declare it inside the loop.
Yeah.
You
Ah,
can't
okay.
march along your array and change the position if you're not within the loop.
Ah, okay.
But this, the color, can be written outside the loop, though.
Shape color.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, those conditions, if
Mhm.
blah blah blah, can be written
Mhm.
outside the loop if you break it as soon as you touch something.
Mm.
Oh, right.
Wouldn't it that be a little bit more performant if we do that?
It will, yeah. The less things you have in your loop, the better it is.
Yeah, I remember. So let's put it outside. So,
Putting it outside needs, yeah, you need to take the if with you too, like
And the current diff and all that.
oh,
yeah.
even?
So
Okay.
30 to 130.
Yeah, you can take the normals too.
The
Yeah.
normals too.
You can take the normals too. And
Like
but
130.
if we do that, we just need to break the loop. We need to make the condition that if we touch something, we break.
Ah,
But
okay.
it's not 100% necessary, but it will be better.
Okay, so I don't know if we should do it or not because now we have 10 minutes. If we
No, but I
wanna
think we
like
can
stop the
keep- I
stream,
mean, we can
let's
keep it
just
on.
do.
What would you use
Let's
to break it? Like,
yeah.
how would you know?
Yeah, we can keep it in the for loop, no problem.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's keep it in the for loop.
And
Okay.
so now we have the normals working. It has a weird color, but maybe you are doing a gamma correction, and that's why it looks like that.
What would you expect the color to be?
Like coder colors, like a bright green, a bright like full green, full red, full
Red
blue.
and blue. Ah, okay,
What
okay.
if we?
So maybe we
do you
put
think it's a light?
no, we didn't light it yet. I'm just displaying the normals, but it
Yeah, that's true.
maybe it is the gamma correction if you added it as a post effect in the JavaScript. I don't know.
No.
Oh
No.
no, we don't have any gamma correction. No,
It's like this
no.
is very
I'm
native
checking and yeah,
post-production.
exactly. There's nothing.
Well, it's a bit weird, but let's try lighting. So yeah, here
you calculated the light inside the where are you? Here you are.
131. 24, sorry. Oh, 124. Yeah, you can write it directly like that. And I think I called it light.
Yeah. Cool.
And here we are. And well, where am I? My screen is jumping.
Oh no, it works.
Sorry, I was deleting some stuff that we're not using.
Okay,
so sorry.
no problem. No problem.
Just so that we don't have to keep scrolling.
That is so cool. Okay.
And there is another trick if you want to right now. So either you max this value by 0 to avoid negative value of light, which is like the correct way of doing it, because it's a dot product, so it's going from -1 to 1. So you can do max 0 this thing, or if you want a fake second bounce of lighting, like really fake, not GI, okay, just relight the shadow parts a bit. You just have to take what is between -1 and 1 and put it between 0 and 1. So doing type 0.5 plus 0.5 will do that, and you will see my shadow will not be as black as it was before. And it's kind of look like I relight the shadows, but it's just putting what's between -1 and 1 between 0 and 1. So it's not physically accurate, and it's totally a trick.
Yeah, I've used this in 2D shaders. I learned it from 𝗶𝗀. So like when you want to have something between 0 and 1 instead of when it's 1 and 1. Cool, very cool. This looks like a pattern that Eliza and I wanted to do, like in one of our earlier. Remember when we chose a topic and we were like looking at inspiration, and yeah, it's totally what we tried to do once.
I'm just scrolling up.
That's so cool.
Where's the rotation thing that you brought in? Can we add time to the rotation so that it spins?
Yeah,
Yes.
totally.
Yes.
Yeah.
If
I
I
think
could
so.
add it in scene to, there you are, Eliza. Would I add it inside
Yeah.
of that or outside of that?
So we need to be careful about what we want to rotate, and it will help us knowing in which order we want to do the operation. So if you want to rotate the whole space, I suggest we do that above the first two rotation. Or if we want to rotate the cube,
Yeah, the cube. I
just
would like each cube.
like
Yeah.
each cube,
Like,
we have to do it in line 40 between clamp repetition and float box.
okay.
So is your
It's U
time?
Yeah, I see you. But I think it's pause.
It's U. Is it just
Isn't it?
time or U time? I think it's U time.
Yeah, it's pause there.
It's you
sorry.
time.
It's you time.
Yeah.
With
U underscore.
Got it.
like that.
Oh.
Oh,
Sorry.
I think both of you are.
Yeah.
Yay.
Hey, that's so cool.
Yeah. Wow.
And if you want them to rotate based on their ID, for example, you want the spinning to kind of propagate like that,
Okay. Yeah,
you have
yeah,
to
yeah,
compute
yeah.
the ID of each repetition.
Okay.
And with that function, the clamp repetition, the ID will be a bit different from what you might see with a classic modulo. It's just it's a vector 2 because I put 2. Oh, I can't. I'm sorry.
You have to move your cursor.
Yeah, I'm
Eliza,
sorry, Eliza.
because
I
don't
can't
think we can see.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah, now it's better.
Oh, I did it in the 4 axis. Let's just do it in the XZ, in the 4, in the 3 axis. Sorry. So, and the calculus for the IDs when you're using the clamp repetition is just that, and the number of, and your period. You divide it by your period. It's called in period. It will be more. It will be easier to explain, like this is the period and you're taking the round between position and divided by period, and that's your IDs.
And the period could be like you're choosing like a random number, like
yeah. Okay. But be careful for this third parameter, which is the limit of a clamp. It's better to keep it as an integer, like it's a float, but don't write 2.5, for example. It will give you errors.
Okay. Got it.
Comment.
Yeah.
So we remember.
No problem.
Yeah, everything is black somehow.
Yeah, I don't know why it had.
Hold on, round, pause. Maybe because the round, do we have to declare vector 2 outside the round or not?
No, not. Oh, yeah, I know why. Yeah, Eliza was right. I declare.
Because otherwise it doesn't know there is a vector 2.
It's not exactly that. Yeah, but it will not. You will not compute the IDs by doing that. Actually, you have to put the point XZ there too.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, and I don't think we need the vector there. But yeah, you were right. I was using a vector 3, but I declare IDs as a vector 2, so that's why it mixed everything up. So now let's check if our ID is working. Like, for example, here I have U time, and if I, for example, say plus length of ID, so I'm taking all the ID in a concentric way.
Ooh,
I
love this.
I shift them.
Yeah. Now it seems that they are like randomly rotating in different directions.
Yeah. And if I make times instead of plus, it will just accelerate. Like faster, the one will be fixed because it's 0.
In the middle. Yeah, that's funny.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
And maybe one last trick I can show you,
Yeah.
if we have time, is how to use the. It's quite simple. How to use our lighting to put some basic colors, and usually I like to do that. It's super dual, kinda. You just have to lerp between two colors and with your lighting at the
Okay.
end. And if you do that, keep it with the max techniques instead of the times 0.5 plus 0.5, because when you do a lerp, you want to go from 0 to 1. And if you use
Okay.
these techniques of putting everything back with a time 0.5 plus 0.5, it can give you error. Like you will not get the color you declare as the darkest one and the one you declare as the
Okay.
brightest.
Okay. Yeah.
So I suggest you change it that way.
Okay.
And that will be this formula. I'm at line 84.
Oh, okay.
This formula will be your lighting. So I will just get out and declare it
Great. Okay.
light and lighting, because light already exists.
I think you already had a Good.
And then you just mix. We are in GLSL, I think. Yeah.
This is
Yeah, of
Alicia's
course.
favorite function.
Yeah, I love it.
And with lighting. And then as a vector 4, you can put like
2 colors.
Yeah. Let's put like
You choose. Let's see what are your favorite colors.
Yeah, I love to like it. It's quite usual, but I like to mix magenta with cyan. But
Okay.
apparently I have some errors.
Because you put a vector 4, so you need to have
you need the
either a vector 3 or otherwise you need the alpha, so.
So I need another vector 4 here. Is it?
No, I mean in the color 2.
Vector in your colors. You forgot that one.
Yeah. You need like 1 point in each.
Yes. Sorry.
No.
Yeah, no problem.
Thanks.
Like the alpha channel was missing, and now we see it, and it's purple.
Yeah, and you can
wow.
You can play with it.
Yeah.
And if you want,
hold on.
And if you want the center cubes to be moving, because like you use the ID as a velocity, you just have to put your ID for the 0 to be like super far and never be there. So at line 42, for example, when I do the U times length of ID, if I do ID plus 2, for example, I should put the 0 away, and now the center.
And it starts as of 2. Cool. Okay.
Because if you don't,
oh my god,
ID, the 0 is your center, and then you times 0.
So I wonder if you do a -2, you make the center bigger, so maybe less cubes move, right? So
it's different to put the -2 there or the -2 outside the length. Like
okay.
There, I'm just shifting my IDs, and if I put the -1 outside the length,
then it grows.
It grows.
Okay.
It depends on when you put the calculus.
Okay.
Cool.
That's pretty cool.
So awesome.
It's blowing my mind. But I prefer like when everything was written, I think.
It's the 2.
You prefer what?
Yeah, when everything was written. That is so cool.
Right. So you want to, with everything rotating, you add, right? You say +2?
Yeah, +2. Yay.
Here we go.
Oh, this is so cool. I'm gonna remove the color palette. Yeah. Just like fix this a little bit more readable. That's so sweet, Flopine.
And you can animate the period. If you animate the period with a sine wave, for example, it can do really fun stuff too.
Yeah. Do it.
So plus that, let's not go to minus values. So it will just retract and, well, like a sinus.
Mm.
Ooh, so
Uh,
there's like a, yeah, okay.
Yeah,
I
they
put
kind of move a little bit, like the whole group, like
That's so
compresses
cool.
in and out.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, this is
and
pretty
then
sweet.
it depends on the first value you put there. Is it 3? Is it 4? And I can make them quite going faster by multiplying the u time inside the sine wave.
Mm-hmm. So
And
maybe
then
might be
instead of doing it with a
good.
sinus, you can do an easing, ease out function, finding
Mm-hmm.
them in internet and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
And you can have really nice movement if you use easing functions.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this is so sweet.
Oh, this is amazing.
Oh my God, I'm so happy that we did this.
Yeah. This is really cool.
What really impressed me today was to learn to declare these defined one-liners that probably I've noticed in Shader Toy, but I never understand. It's so advanced that I never understood why they define things like that either. So that
I've
was
seen
really
it
cool.
before for like single variables, but I've never seen it for like bigger, like
Yeah, me too.
that was really cool.
Really, for functions that are meant to be used maybe with one axis, with a different type of parameter, it's really useful, like repetitions. Sometimes I'm using also it for shapes, for basic shapes when I'm
Mm-hmm.
working
That are
with 2D.
one-liners.
Yeah,
That's what
when
I
I'm
saw
Yeah.
you
working with
doing on your
2D.
Twitch stream. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, I have a tendency to declare my 2D shapes that are usually
Mm.
one-liners. Uh,
Mm.
Fine, like
I remember being
circle,
so confused by
square.
that. I was like, what? How do you? I didn't. Yeah, it's so cool.
Yeah.
I'm so
I
glad you
like it.
understand it.
Yeah,
And
it
to
took
do
me.
repetition, it's even easier than the one from Inigo, I think. The way to do it, like with this thing that you show us.
Yeah, it's the same. That the one from Inigo.
Mm-hmm.
I took it from Inigo, but putting it in a define helps you using
Mm-hmm.
it with more versatility.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, cool.
Awesome.
Somebody asked what epsilon is. Epsilon is a very, very, very small number,
It's teeny, teeny,
close to
tiny,
zero.
incremental number. Yeah.
It's not zero and is not one, but it's closer to zero. So
Closer to 0 than 1. Yeah.
it's a mathematical term, by the way, epsilon.
Yeah.
If you search, it's
If you
like
plug that
pi,
into
which is a
Google,
mathematical term.
you'll get a more
Mhm.
detailed explanation.
Mhm.
But basically, it's a
Yeah.
tiny number. Awesome. Thank you, Flopine.
Yeah, thank
You
you.
still do your beer in a shader. I haven't seen a notification for it in a while, but you still do them from time to time.
I think you were doing more gaming,
Oh.
aren't you? Because I was trying to tune in and I saw you playing video games instead,
Okay,
like
that's fair.
Yeah.
lately.
That's fair too. That's fair too.
Yeah, I
I
have
think
a
you're
new
into.
passion, which is doing some randomizer run of Zelda Majora's Mask.
Cool.
Yeah,
Okay.
I was looking at that. Oh, maybe Eliza, you can put her Twitch channel on OBS before we leave, so that
Let
people can go
me.
and follow Flopine.
Yeah.
So for the viewers that maybe are watching today and haven't checked her out, yeah, you
But
should
I
check her
kept
channel out.
I kept highlights of every Twitch I did about shaders.
Cool.
So you can still watch videos if
Can you
you're new, and
keep
Mm.
highlights?
yeah.
I didn't realize they deleted themselves automatically after 2 weeks. That's my
Yeah,
Two
me
mistake.
weeks.
too.
Yeah.
2 weeks, it's when you don't highlight parts of your video. But
Okay.
as soon as
You
you
mean
highlight,
highlights here, not the whole stream, but just like parts of the stream.
Got it. Yeah.
usually that's how people do. But I am not patient, so usually I highlight all the stream, and it still
Mm.
work.
That's really smart. We should do that.
Okay,
Yeah.
You can
okay.
highlight all the stream if you want. You just create highlight and you say, okay, this 6 hour stream was my highlight, and then
That's a
and it
very
keeps
nice
it.
hack.
Yeah. You can do a little highlight there.
That's
That's
a
awesome.
wonderful hack.
My
Um,
first streaming is still online on my Twitch, and the highlight is from 2019. I think
Ah,
I started in January 2019, and it's still there. So
okay, I didn't know about that trick. Good to
yeah.
know. Yeah, go check out Flopine because she's doing like gaming and shaders, I guess,
Yeah.
depending on the mood, on
Depending
periods.
on the mood, yeah. I would love to get back to shader streaming. The last one I did was kind of fun, but
Hmm?
I'm in a mood where I want to share things, but I don't necessarily want to learn new stuff. And when I'm doing my shadow streaming, usually people with the best intention starts to explain me a lot of stuff, and I'm like, I just want to do
My
my
own
thing,
thing.
my
Yeah.
way
Yeah.
for tonight, please.
Let me be.
Yeah, I'm that kind of middle
Mm,
feelings.
Totally get
Uh,
that.
mm,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That I totally get that.
mm.
People can be very, but they are good intentions, right? They're
Yeah.
excited to show you something, but that's why you're streaming that day. So
Yeah,
yeah,
I like the idea of improving yourself and your own knowledge, but maybe not every day.
yeah,
Like sometimes you just want to
mm.
feel like you know what you're doing,
yeah,
and there
Yeah.
is not an ocean of things you don't know. Like
Mm,
sometimes you don't
yeah.
want to see the ocean. Sometimes you
Yeah.
just want to be on your stuff
Yeah.
and saying to
It's true.
yourself, "Okay, I'm mastering this. Okay, everything will
Yeah.
be fine."
yeah.
Mm,
Awesome.
mm, mm.
And
Yeah, I
sometimes the
totally
chat
agree.
doesn't let you
They
think
don't.
that.
Yeah,
But
they don't.
again, with the best intentions,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
I can't really
Yeah.
be mad, you know.
No. No, for sure.
Of course. Yeah.
Do you have anything new next coming up or anything that you want to share with people?
Tonight at 11 European Central European time, there is a
Mhm.
shader jam with 21 person at the same
Oh.
time.
Oh.
It's not collaborative. We will all have our
Hmm.
own shader, but you will see 21 takes of the same DJ set.
Cool.
Okay.
It's,
And
uh,
where can one tune in?
it's on 11 p.m. European Central Time.
Is it
Yeah, but
on
where
your Twitch?
can one watch?
On Twitch at 𝗶𝗸𝗀, the channel of 𝗶𝗸𝗀.
PS enough?
Let me see
Where
if I
is
can
that?
bring
Let
that
like
me
up.
check.
like that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I got
And
it.
somebody put it on the chat.
Yeah.
Thank
Ah,
you.
Totet Matt. Hi. That's one of my
Is
viewers.
that one of your that? Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Cool.
okay.
And he's also
Yeah, cool.
participating in that 21 Shadow Jam Madness. It's for
He
celebrating
said
the
25.
25.
Little.
Oh,
Yeah.
sorry. Finally, you do shader. Well,
Yeah.
not on my channel.
Yeah.
I am an invite.
Yeah. Well, we would love to have you again if you ever want
You're
to
always welcome back
do
here. Yeah.
another session.
It would be our
Yes.
Thanks.
pleasure to have you.
I
It was
would love.
lovely to get to know you.
Thanks. I really enjoyed it, and it was lovely to jam with you too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you so much. So yeah, and anything else that you want to say before we leave?
Log
Sadly,
off.
we will go a little bit earlier today.
Uh, no. Thank you for
Okay.
having me.
Cool.
I
No.
really, really enjoyed it. Really.
I'm glad. I'm glad. I'm so glad that we
Yeah.
got to meet officially now.
Yeah.
For some reason, you seem better
Yeah.
with
Yeah.
people on the internet than in real life, apparently. But we will cross paths again at some point now that everything's open, I'm sure. So.
Yeah, I would love to, and I definitely keep in mind that you will be
A lecturer in the
willing
practice?
to help me translate my my thesis.
Cool. Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so that we
I
can
like
read it.
reading. I'm curious. I love that stuff. So definitely.
Maybe
Yeah.
not all of it.
You
I think
anything you
I
want.
will.
Pick a section. We can look at it together, and I'm happy to help you. Yeah. Awesome.
Thanks.
Okay. All right. Well,
Cool.
everybody who's tuned in, thank you for watching, and
Yeah.
in the future, thank you too.
Yeah. See you in 2 weeks.
Yeah, we'll be back in 2 weeks. I think we'll just be me
Mhm.
and Lucia next time. Actually, we haven't done that.
Yeah, it's the first time that we're gonna be on our own for quite some time.
Before
So
we break
just
for the summer, we might have one more guest, and then we'll be
Yeah.
back for season 2. But yeah, tune in. We
Yeah.
will send out a newsletter between now and then with this replay and some code for you and any other.
we still have to share as well, like our last session with Sean. We haven't, but we will do that in the
Probably share
following
that
weeks,
tomorrow.
like Flopine and Shane.
Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah.
All right.
Thanks,
Well,
everybody.
we bid everybody a good Saturday. And I'm good.
Yeah, have a lovely evening.
All right. Bye.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye. Thanks.